So I'm saying that season calendar will change in the future because look, today and this year, the full season we decided all are wrong. We are April, May, that are full of raining. June full of summer. Like that, if we humans see that for so many repetition in years, the humans will change the season calendar in the future.
I think that it will change, but seasons occur because sun is sun. Earth is revolving around sun, and Earth is tilted 23.5 degrees. Its axis is 23.5 degree tilted. So heat is distributed differently in different parts of Earth. So it causes seasons, and I have been researched a lot. When I googled, I didn't get an correct answer, and I think that because this tilt is changing, the seasons will change because the distribution of heat will be different if the tilt changes. So that's it.
I think the season calendar is already changing because of things like leap year, when the whole year shifts forward by 1 or 2 days. So the seasons would change with that. It would change the date that the season would start on. And also because of climate change. Climate change has been shown to change the starting of seasons, to pull them back by 2 days. Studies have shown that it's been pulling back the start dates of the seasons, and it's been messing up the season calendar.
I think that seasons will change. So because the seasons cause the axial tilt of the Earth, right? So because of precession, this tilt changes. The tilt wobbles, right? So the tilt changes, and so does the seasons. The seasons like sunny and rainy will be there, but the months it will occur will change. And also, when you look at back at days in olden times, like June was not rainy season, and April and May was not what they call summer season. So like that, it will also change in the future. Maybe June will be some summer season because of the precession of the Earth.
Well, first of all, the reason for seasons is the distance between the sun and the tilt of the Earth, and other reasons. And at the age of dinosaurs, the Earth's axis were tilted only for 12 degree, and right now, like today, the axis of the Earth is now 23.5. So the season is always changing, and has changed and is still changing. And there can be more reasons for the Earth to go towards the sun, and other all reasons.
The time when each season occur may change due to precision, and because the degree at which Earth is tilted may change, and those things change. So seasons may change when it occurs after a lot of time.
I have a doubt that you're saying precision will cause season change. How will it cause season change?
I think I have answered for the question in the first part. Sorry, in the last part, because when the tilt increases, the distribution of heat also changes. No, so if tilt increases, America will be also tilted. Then I think so. America want to be tilted. So when America's position changes, heat will be radiated to another place. So heat distribution is changed, and season. I think season will also be changed.
You can also touch upon what will happen to mankind amidst all these changes and the species on Earth.
Well, if the human civilization was smart enough, they would have like migrated to Mars or somewhere. And if they were not, if the climate got extreme and the humans are not smart enough, they would have they would be suffering.
And also, like when the seasons change, so many creatures would suffer because many creatures has evolved to sustain in a particular season, and suddenly, like if June is rainy season, and suddenly if June becomes a very high summer season, then the animals that were adapted would have will be at hard times because they will not be expecting like a high temperature in June, so they must have to change their adaptation ideas, and creatures will suffer because of the sudden season change.
There also on the days in which the seasons change, like with climate change, the creatures already suffer slightly. They've been saying that some creatures have been affected by it, and if it was to become big change, like a month or two offset, then I would think that lots of animal life would certainly start to die out. So I agree with Thorn.
Sometimes they can undergo genetical changes.
I thought it will also affect human first all. When season change, first all the humans will get affected, but later it will be adapted to every animals.
But it will get adapted to every animals, but there are like some plants that live in those times, right? Like seasonal fruits and plants. So every plant has a purpose, like every organism has. So if a plant does not um, like grow in that season, or if the season becomes colder or hotter than usual, every plant in the on earth will burn or will get destroyed. So even if we adapt to it, it is no use because there are no oxygen, and oxygen is produced by plants. So no plants means no life in earth.
But plants also will adapt it, no?
But I believe like humans will find a way to survive without plants or animals in the future.
Or humans will make artificial plants like that.
Well, technically producing plants would be easier than not producing plants because in the end it's organic growth. You just need to plant a couple of seeds, and if you water and take care of it for long enough, you have a plant. But for the animals, if humans just went completely plant-based, number one, that we would get the oxygen, and number two, the technologies are already coming out that can make plant food taste like anything you'd want. So in the future, you wouldn't really even need to have animal food. You could, if the animals were still there, they could just roam free. And if they weren't there, then we could just move to that kind of plant-based diet where you could taste anything you want by just eating a plant, because those are already coming out, like the vegan burgers. There's a company that makes it, and it is apparently tastes exactly like the real burger. So in the end, I would think that being just completely plant-based by planting plants and using them as food would be an easier method. It would be easier to build a greenhouse than to find some new technology that can convert carbon dioxide into oxygen and use it to, try to replicate the plant.
But to do that, it will take like a many years. It will like take 1 billion or like thousands, millions, billions of years can take to build that type of technology. Now you said like vegan burger all, but they are just making it. But even if they make it like that, they like animals have like certain proteins or vitamins or minerals that plants don't have. So if we only eat plants, we will get the proteins that only plants have. But if we don't eat uh, like animals, we won't get the proteins from the animals that our body needs to do the processes that our body does.
Well, vegans are really healthy and they only eat plants. They don't even eat dairy. But for every animal, there's usually a plant that has that nutrient. Like for example, like banana has potassium, and sometimes that, I mean, I know that's a fruit, but still you could classify it under being a plant, because plants, fruits and vegetables, there are fruits and vegetables themselves have most of the vitamins that animals have. And if your reasoning was correct, then vegans would have very poor lifestyles, and they would be malnourished, but they're not. So you could live on plants for a while and it wouldn't really affect you. You would have actually, in fact, a lot of nutrients if you were resorting to a plant-based diet.
So you when you are talking, you said bile. You also may know that we cannot like always depend on like veg veg all. There are people that survive on it. I will accept that. But there are still like some peoples have some type of diseases that they cannot like eat veg. Some people have that kind of diseases. So if there is no animals, only plants, so what will those humans eat? Those humans eat, they won't be able to eat anything.
Do you think, I was just wondering, I think the debate has drifted slightly into veg and non-veg. Do you think we could probably get back to discussing whether the seasons calendar changes?
Yeah, could I say, as I just joined now, what I wanted to say is, yes, the seasons are changing because of global warming and pollution, and as the ozone layer is opening up because of this pollution, I guess, yeah, the like winters are becoming even shorter and the summers are very long, and there is like change. But if we can reduce pollution now that electric cars and all are coming, I feel that the seasons will remain the same if we continue to go eco-friendly. Yeah, I support.
I kind of disagree with the seasons will stay the same if we go eco-friendly. Climate change, it won't stay the same because climate change is already happening, and climate change creates a runaway greenhouse effect, which makes the earth warmer. Now that's just direct on the seasons. Summers will get hotter and winters will get hotter, and you could say that in the end, in the end, the morph between summer and winter, the distinction will slowly go away until it's fully summer. So in that sense, the season calendar would change, because in the end, the winters would get so warmed up that the winters wouldn't really happen. It would just be summer.
But that is like a long time process, I feel, and I think the chances are less because climate change can also remain the same, maybe because of how we take care of the earth. But if we take care of the earth in not a good way, like how the increasing population is happening, so we are buying more cars instead of electric ones right now, but slowly we are changing. So I feel, yeah, there will not be much of a season change, but there can be.
Pranav, now I understand what you're saying. You mean if we keep our planet eco-friendly by not using any pollution, all right? But now, even if humans do eco-friendly, the nature will start changing.
Why will it start changing?
Because change is nature.
No, there should be a reason for change. No, change cannot simply happen. At least some reason.
Because you know our sun, right? It can only a star. Our sun is a star. It can only live for 10 billion years. Huh? Our sun has left 5 billion years left for it to live. Huh?
Okay.
So the older.
Yeah. So you
So
say
the
that
older our sun gets, the hotter it will get. But in certain point, it will get cooler. So when it's getting hotter or cooler, even if we are eco-friendly to our earth, it's no use because we cannot do nothing about our sun.
That is
I
true,
don't know.
but that is a long time. That's a long time process. No, the sun won't become cool right now. Like you within 5 years. 6 billion years is like actually very long. You won't even be there. You won't even be there till that time will be some other generation. So we don't know. Like currently, what I feel is the season may change a bit, but not much if we become eco-friendly. What you are saying is like more like a long term. I'm saying about short term. So
Actually, the studies show that by 2100, which is not that far off, summers could become 6 months long and winters could become 2 months long if climate change continues.
But that's just an estimation, no. But we can, if we become eco-friendly by the time, means already electric cars have started being produced. Now solar car is also going to be introduced very soon in just 2-3 years. So I feel slowly it's going to reduce. So maybe climate change will become like how it was in the starting, like the perfect trend.
Earth's temperature is fluctuating like naturally, like from ice age. Here we are from a higher temperature, and again we will reach ice age in some future years. So Earth's climate is changing naturally. Okay, like fluctuating
But the last time when ice age happened was very long time, like at least more than, I guess, 500 years, more than that, I guess.
Yeah.
So won't it take that much time?
We need to know a season.
Because I feel that ice age will at least take long. You're muted. There are chances of the earth to become hotter if we don't stop using petrol and diesel cars. You also need to plant more trees. Yeah. So because of which, I guess most of you would have read a news like icebergs have started to melt, and if they melt a lot, it can cause a tsunami also. Excess melting of the excess water. Yeah.
Prana, I like Prana and Juan, I think. You guys said planting trees, right?
Yeah. He said, but I
So
support it.
yeah, so even so to a plant to grow, it will take like 10-20 years, for a small plant, till then there's ice, in south and north there is ice, that will keep on melting. So
Uh,
when it's keep on melting, even if we plant tree all, it's not going to be a use, because before it, even if it grows, the water will flood.
And
but I feel this water that you are saying will flood is because there's a like a opening in the ozone layer, and that too it's in the these cold regions, because bacteria they stay more in colder areas. That's what I feel, because of which this is happening. But if we plant, it's like a long thing. If we plant more trees, it'll absorb more of the carbon dioxide and produce more oxygen, and then that slowly it'll affect the entire earth. It's like it's not only should be done in one place, it should be done around the whole earth, then only it'll make some sense. Otherwise, no, I don't think so.
Sir, we can prevent it, right? That melting of icebergs. We can prevent it
How
by
can we prevent it?
reducing.
By
Yeah,
planting more trees.
no, actually, there's a company who built a machine that can create ice in the ocean, near the iceberg, the Antarctic iceberg.
Oh, okay.
But
Like
yeah, there are development of bacteria too.
um,
I just really wanted to say something really quick. In the beginning, but in a really early evolutionary stage, there were bacteria. I think they were called cyanobacteria, if I'm not mistaken. But Earth at that time had so much oxygen in it that if you were to, sorry, but yeah, Earth had a lot of oxygen in it at that time. So technically, if there were lots of pools of cyanobacteria, they automatically produce oxygen. So they're I think a form of algae almost.
Yeah, so can I just ask those who didn't open up so far to
Yes,
come
sir, you can.
for and speak? There are
Sir, you can.
quite few of them. Devanarayanan, Marvel, Varsha, Tanis, Alvin, I think just spoke for small. Idiot, Sneaked, Manoni. Can you all come and share your views? With that, we can move to the next part.
Sir, so I have a question. No, I have a question to Abhinav. Why can't we stop these ice caps from melting? What's the reason?
Like someone had told, like long ago, Earth used to be 12 degree and now it is 25.5 degree. Just like that, our Earth is slowly being tilted. Not just that, the sun rays travel a straight line. So they have like a range, right? So for starting, it will be hot, colder. So and not just that, our Earth, uh, um, is a spear shape. So its sides, are like broader. So they will get hotter heat. Huh? So whenever it is slowly tilting, the portions that they used, the heat temperature that they used to get will start increasing. So as long as they start begin to tilting, the heat will start increasing, and then the ice will begin to slowly get melted away. Hmm, that's all.
But if we can make ice,
What?
But if we
I
can
don't
make
hear.
ice can be only made by freezing water.
I just had to say something. Ice can actually help with the problem is ice used to help because when heat in the summer, for example, when sun rays would come, um, ice has I think it's called albinism or something, but it's basically the reflectiveness of the ice. And if you shine heat at something reflective, it's going to reflect it back out. So the ice was actually helping, but when it starts melting, then of course summers are going to get longer because there's not going to be so much that's reflecting sunlight back.
Yeah, I suppose
Yeah,
that.
just like
I
yeah.
feel
So just like yeah. Sorry, Pranav. You can talk.
okay. I was
After you, I'll say.
I was just saying like how black absorbs like more of heat. I feel like basically white will rebound it, like reflect it back. It's not necessary that ice is white in color. It's like transparent, but it is reflective. As it's smooth and glossy kind. That's what I want. Yeah, Abhinav.
Not just yeah, not just that. Like Ethan had said, ice reflects heat rays, but like we in our daily life, if we keep a metal in the sun, huh, rays, huh, so that time if we touch it, it will be hot, right? Because it is doing two things. One, it is like reflecting it, but it is by when it is reflecting, the area of reflection is getting heated, meaning the place where the heat is bouncing from, the bouncing area is getting heated by the sun's heat rays. So if we keep it therefore continuously in the sun rays, the metals start melting. Just like that, same is with the ice.
Yeah, so basically what you're trying to say, I get it. Like if the thicker the metal, the more longer it can stand. Similarly, if the ice is very huge, it can withstand the heat. But if the heat radiation is more compared to the ice, it will melt. Basically, that's it.
Okay, so good. Any other further points anyone wants to add? So Ali or anyone wants to add any further point? Okay, so one thing is it's pretty interesting points. You have to get sometimes you have to get all the facts right. Okay, so means we can get into science fiction. That's good because it's people like Muhammad Dayab who take the humanity forward, who has a technological solution for all problems, like shifting humankind to Mars or creating artificial eyes. So people who think like that are the people who eventually end up in developing things. So that I appreciate that kind of thought processes. But at the same time, we have to get our facts also right. So we should not get our facts wrong, basic facts. So what is the importance of ice and why climate change happens and all those things. So I would give you an assignment immediately. This is a common myth. This is a very, very common myth many people has, that telling the entire oxygen is produced by trees. So so that I think we have to get the facts right. So I want you yourself to go and search how is the oxygen balance of the earth happen. How does it happen? Okay, because when the earth was formed, it didn't have this much oxygen in the atmosphere, because human life was not possible at that time. So like Ethan and all told, there are certain other things like bacterial action and all things which is pave way for that. So even now also there are things which pave way for that. So I want you to do that assignment on what is creating this oxygen balance in this earth. Plants have a role in maintaining earth's balance in many other things, but contrary to the popular myth, it's not plants actually who really plays a big role in this oxygen balance. Okay, they have so many other duties to do, which is good. And all plants are not doing a positive thing. Some plants do some positive thing, and some plants have some own issues. But in general, plantations and don't have their own huge role in eco-balance. But it's not necessarily because of oxygen. They do supply oxygen, they do take oxygen also for some of their work. So I want you to understand this plant, how much oxygen plants contribute to Earth, and who are the other people who are players in this oxygen business, right? So with that one assignment you do, from there we will start, okay? And I'll come to the climate change part later, but I will start with some fundamentals, basic things, which I think many of you might know, but it's important for you to understand that by telling what is climate, what is season, who creates season, what is the cause of season. Most of you might be knowing that, but still, okay. So, like one thing we have to understand, the history of calendar, what we have, is pretty old. Pretty old. Have you heard about different calendars?
Yes, sir.
Tell me.
Yes.
Sir, actually, it's not that, but at home I follow Malayalam calendar and English calendar both.
Yeah, that is a language-based difference. I'm telling different astronomical methods of
Gregorian
Gregorian.
calendar, Julius
Yeah.
calendar,
Okay.
Eastman calendar,
Yeah,
HSPC calendar.
yeah.
Many
Good.
types.
Very good.
And lunar calendars are
Lunar
also
calendar,
Solar calendar.
Roman calendar. Okay. So what calendar we use?
Gregorian calendar.
Gregorian calendar.
Gregorian. Okay, so this is like approximately in 1582 is where the King Gregory actually who introduced this. Basically, because of this minor difference which you can see, like the Julian calendar was introduced because it was supposed to be accurate, more accurate than the Roman calendar. They were following different methods. And then you see there is a minor difference. You can see 365.25 days per year to 365.2425 days. It looks like a minor difference, but what will happen is now when your calendar is longer and the actual year is shorter, what will happen is your calendar will be out of synchronism with what is happening, right? Because every year your calendar calculates this much, but slightly before the year is ended. Next year again calendar will calculate this much slightly before the year is ended. So over a period that difference will become so big. So there are a lot of festivals. Actually, most of the festivals, olden festivals, are based on the nature, the equinoxes, the solstices, what is happening, the change in nature. So even Easter, they have certain stars which are coming at that point. So they observed that their dates of Easter and all are changing. So then they realized this error. So this Gregorian calendar was introduced. But when it was introduced, they lost 10 days. So from October 4, the next day was October 15th. And many countries did not change the calendar at that time. Especially it became like the fight between Catholics and the Protestants in the church side. Okay, and then some countries like Russia adopted much later, and as a result, it seems the story goes that in 1908 Olympics, the Russian team came, it seems, 12 days late to participate because their calendar was, by that time the standard became 12 days. Okay, so this is a story of calendar, but it all depends on what is the accurate time of an year. What is the accurate time of an year? And you have to understand year, what are the natural times, the time which natural tells us year is a natural time because earth rotates once, right? Day is a natural time because earth rotates in its own axis. All other times are artificial. Minute, second, hour, all are artificial. We have created. That is why in different countries they had different hours, different timing system. The 60-minute this system what we have 60-second system is something which is the Mesopotamians from that time it is there, but different places have different kind of systems. But this is artificial. Only day and year. You remember our previous class, the two kind of motions of Earth. That is what is real, and that is having a huge role. So coming back to this, you have to understand. So this what we call as Earth. So this completing one rotation is what we call as revolution is what we call as 1 year, right? But then there is this complexity of this axial tilt. So what happens because of this axial tilt? Because of this axial tilt, you just assume that the Earth is the perfect sphere here, 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 but the rotation happens along with that axial tilt. You can consider it as perpendicular to the axial tilt. Axis is like this, perpendicular to the axial tilt, rotation happens. So because of that, what will happen? See, assume this timeline like December and kind of stuff. So you see the sun rays, it falls perpendicular, not on the equator. This red is equator. So equator is also an arbitrary line, which is 90-degree opposite to equator, opposite to this axis, which is also an arbitrary line. Both are fictitious, both are virtual. There is no physical line called equator, there is no physical line called axis. So this is all virtual. But then what happens is, during this time, the sun rays falls on your head perpendicular, not on equator, on this line. Okay, and then when this Earth rotates, when this comes after sort of approximately 1/4, you see this is coming straight on this equator because this shape is like this. So here this tilt is like this, here tilt is like this, here also tilt is like this, but then this tilt is in line with the orbital plane. So when this rotates throughout this throughout the day, this equator will get light exactly on its head.
So that time will we have equal day and equal night?
Yeah, this is the time when you have people who stay in equator will have equal day and equal night. People who stay in equator will have.
Yeah. So because the Earth's on its axis, does this mean that one side would bulge, like what side where it's tilted, would it bulge more than the other side?
No, no. See, of course, like we told the other day, the center part is, but that is there. But because of this rotation revolution, that doesn't happen. Earth has a permanent bulge, like we discussed yesterday, because of this rotatory motion, the centrifugal force comes. So the equator part is bulged, that we discussed. Apart from that, there is no other bulge. Yeah. Okay. So,
okay, thank you.
Yeah. So because, yeah.
So which is the day, since we are living in India, those who live in India, which is the day which we have equal day and night?
Yeah, that will be approximately in April. See, that depending on in India also where you fall in. So if you are in like Himalayas, you are slightly much above the equator.
Okay.
Okay, if you are in Kerala kind of place, you are close to equator.
Oh, okay.
So that's why the temperature, the climate is different. You see now, in this kind of case, you see you are far away from sun, you get less of sunlight. You don't get perpendicular sunlight, you get less of sunlight. So you have winter. So that's why in this kind of position, December kind of position, this bottom half, they have summer because they get more of sunlight.
Oh.
So that's why you have countries in this Latin America, Africa, and all, they get in December kind of stuff, they have summer, and that's why you have winter on the top. If you ask that good question of India, so India, Himalayas and all are on the top above this equator here, so they will be cold that December, January time. That's why people go to Kulu, Manali and all those places during that time. But then when you travel after 6 months, approximately in June kind of place, tilt is constant. So by that time, what happens is, just because of this tilt and this position has changed, the sun falls straight on towards the northern side. This was towards the southern side. Towards the northern side, it's straight fall. So here it becomes summer. That's why in June and all, you see it is summer in European countries. You might be hearing horrendous stories from Europe today of wildfire. Yesterday there was a viral photograph of a UK man coming to his terrace and cooking breakfast in sunlight. 41 degrees. First time they are saying. So the omelette becoming,
Yes, sir.
red
My
hot.
mother told.
You see?
My
So
mother told it.
Exactly. So that is this time. You see now June, July time, they have summer because they fall here. Sunlight is more here. And on the other places like this Argentina and those Australia, that kind of places, this is cool. Is it not? So that's why Delhi and all are pretty hot during this June, July, top time, because of this tilt. So, but in these times, that is how we call these things as this is equinox, where the sun falls straight on equator is called equator equinox. This is we call solstice. But whether it is summer solstice or winter solstice, depending on where you belong to. So for northern hemisphere, whatever is written is for northern hemisphere. Northern hemisphere means places above the equator. For places above the equator, this is winter, they get less of sunlight. But places below the equator, that is southern hemisphere, most of the Africa and Latin America, this is summer. So this is summer solstice for northern hemisphere. But for the southern hemisphere, this is winter. So this is the basic of climate. This you to understand, okay? I hope this is a pretty important topic in your geography, maybe class 9 or class 10. You have to understand this very well. You have to, this is simple. I suggest after going home, you take a globe and keep some ball or something and assume that is sun, and keep a globe and manage this tilt of your own and try to move and see how it works. Okay,
and is the fact, and this is why the North Pole and the South Pole in Canada are always pretty cold. Is it because their sun is never really directly on them?
That is my next slide. Exactly, that is my next slide. You see, I'm making this picture bigger. So this winter solstice, I'm making it bigger. So this is how it looks like. Winter solstice, assume sun is here. So when sun is here, exactly this half place is where you get sunlight. But then sunlight straight falls not on equator here, right? Because it comes from center. Sun is here. Sun is much bigger than Earth. Sun is much bigger than Earth. So the perpendicular rays fall here. This is this point. This point, you see? This point. Now I have given the measurement. What is this measurement? This measurement is same tilt. See, this is equator. So equator is where this sunlight falls, this half, this is 23.5 degree. And this 23.5 degree and this are same because these are perpendicular. Actual axis and equator are perpendicular. And this line are perpendicular. So this angle and this angle are same. This is 23.5 degree. So that means 23.5 degree towards south of equator is where the sunlight falls straight on this day approximately. So that means this line is where you will get maximum sunlight. And that is what we call as Tropic of Capricorn. So the countries which fall in and around here during December, for them it is peak summer and their days are longer. You see 10.5 hours of darkness, which means 13.5 hours of day. Contrary to that, on the other side, we will come to that. You see on the top, North Pole, it doesn't get sunlight. North Pole doesn't get, because you see this is tilting in this axis direction. So this man doesn't get sunlight. That is 6 months almost continuous night. But you see the South Pole actually get sunlight for the whole day. But the sunlight is very feeble. Very feeble. Because you see the angle of sunlight. You assume that sphere. That's why I'm telling, after going home, keep a globe, keep a sun as a ball or something, and try to move this globe and see how it works. It is extremely important for you to understand the fundamentals and basics of this. Okay, you have to do it and know yourself. And the opposite side of it, the summer side of it. Now here I am showing this part as bigger. This part is bigger. You see? So that is sun is here. The opposite happens. Opposite happens means what? Towards the north of the sun. Towards the north of the equator. Sorry, towards north of the equator. Again 23.5 degree is where you get maximum sunlight. This will be the places like Delhi and all those things near that. That is where you get maximum sunlight during this June. Okay, and that is what we call as Tropic of Cancer. And those 6 months, actually, see, North Pole gets day complete 24 hours day. You would be seeing many people who travel to many countries in Europe and all, they find it so difficult. They will tell midnight, 12 o'clock, sunlight. Morning, 4 o'clock, sunlight. So they go with thick curtains from here in India to go and stay there so that they can cover all the windows. They can get a good sleep. Yeah. So this actually affects you. This is actually the naked truth of nature, how this rotates, right? So this is what is the basic mechanism. So coming back to this, we have a simple thing you to understand. This is where this guy called Precession comes. So our friend Nivedita asked, what is happening because of Precession? Precession is happening, so what? Why should it affect earth or movement or things like that? Okay, so now you listen carefully. See what is happening. So you have earth, let us assume it is this position, axial tilt, and this axis is tilting. Axis is tilting means what? It is tilting every moment, and this entire tilt is getting completed in 25,800 years. So that means in 12,900 years, the tilt is like from here to here, 180 degree happens. 360 degree happens in 25,800 years. Then it is simple mathematics. How much is the tilt per year? So in 25,800 years, one complete change happens. It comes back to the original position. So this tilts and comes back to original position. That means 1 year, 365. So every year, every moment, this point here will get tilted. But that tilt is so very small. So in 25,800 year, you complete 365, 1 year's tilt. 365 days tilt. 365 days is this many minutes into 24 hours into 60 minutes. Now the question is 1 year, how much tilt? Simple mathematics. So in 1 year, this divided by this, so you get 20 minutes of tilt, which means your season will get shifted by 20 minutes. Why are we telling so? For that, you should understand what is time. So when you tell time is after noon, 12 o'clock, what does it mean?
Very hot. Sun is at the top.
Sun is at the top. You see, that is the point. Sun is at the top. 12 noon means sun is at the top. 12 midnight means sun is at the back. Morning 6 a.m. means you are here and sun is you are just starting to see. So because of this tilt, what will happen? This 12 noon means if you have a tilt like this, what will happen? 20 minutes after 1 year, that 12 o'clock will actually, when it is 12 o'clock in your clock, you will not be, sun will not be above your head. This 20-minute difference will happen because of this tilt. Next year, 40 minutes. Next year, 60 minutes. So like that, what as Tarun is telling, like that, what will happen is every year your season will change, and December over a period has to become summer, and for us, or for Americas, and June has to become winter, but that doesn't happen.
Okay.
Why?
Sir, because when it completes one round, it'll come back to the original.
It comes back over by that time the tilt has happened. 1 year would have passed. By the time it comes back, 1 year it would have tilted.
Sir, because of the continents are moving.
This is the question of the day for you. Apply. Let heat come from your brain. Think. That's the trick of the trade.
Because even the sun is moving a bit.
See, what Pranav told is right. After 25,800 years, it will come back to original. But during this 25,800 years, things will change.
So even the sun will move around, right? A bit. So
Not this much. It will move around the solar system center, which is inside the sun itself. Anyone?
Maybe because Earth's orbit itself is going to change slightly to compensate.
Actually, it does change, but then we manipulate our calendar. So we have 2 years actually. 1 year is the actual year where the Earth completes 360-degree rotation. If we go make the calendar as per that, we will have this issue. That year is called sidereal year. Sidereal year. Sidereal means with respect to star. With respect to stars, constellations, nature, everything, 360-degree Earth completes one revolution.
oh, the other one is lunar.
Solar year or synodic year, what we use in our calendar.
Oh, okay.
So look at this carefully. Let us assume the Earth is here and Earth completes one full year's rotation. So the star constellation stars are so big, so huge compared to us. So when we start from here, when we complete 1 year, when we come here again, we look at this same angle, we see the stars. That is actually one 360-degree revolution. But because of this precision, the point which was looking at sun. So for example, this is 12 noon for you. Today, let us assume June 20th, July 20th, mid-noon. And you started 1 year. Next year, when this July 20th mid-noon actually will come 20 minutes before. Because by that time, this position is slightly tilted. This position is slightly tilted. So as this is tilted, this is, it is happening continuously by a full year. This position, by this period itself, this comes straight to Earth. So the 12 noon comes 20 minutes before. When it comes here, that position has moved 20 minutes. So what happens is, we take the time here with respect to sun. When the same point completes one revolution with respect to sun, or July 20th mid-noon to July 20th mid-noon, not 360-degree, it is slightly less than 360-degree, or equinox to equinox, solstice to solstice. We take one mark and we see, compared to sun, if we complete 1 year, we take that as solar year, not the 360-degree revolution. The 360-degree is compared to stars and nature and everything. If we take, our seasons will continuously change in the calendar. So we make this adjustment, which is like what we call a solar year. Other thing is called sidereal year. Sidereal year and solar year. Solar year is also called synodic year. There are reasons for that. Sidereal year is 360-degree rotation, but we don't take 360-degree rotation. We take slightly lesser than that, which is 20 minutes less than this. So this is our 1 year. Okay, assignment for you. There is something called sidereal day and solar day. The same problem happens in day also. 1 day is not 24 hours actually. Earth completes one rotation 360-degree at 23 hours 56 minutes. But our day as per calendar and everything, clock and everything is this. So that is your assignment. Second assignment, why? Okay, so as I'm telling, there are only 2 truths with respect to Earth. Rotation around its axis, 1 truth. Day and night, 1 day. Second truth, revolution around sun. Second truth, seasons, 1 year. In both, we have this slight issue with regard to how do we calculate the completion of one round. Should we take 360-degree, starting to the same point compared to stars and all, or look at sun? We decide to look at sun because he is our guy. He is the guy who gives us all the power and energy. All our seasons and everything is depending on side. So we tell Maro Goli stars, catch hold of sun. Sun Zindabad, stars Murdabad. Yeah. Yes, Abhinav.
I have a doubt. So we are saying our sun, right?
Hmm.
It's like our energy all.
Hmm.
Huh?
Yes.
So what if we replace our sun?
Yeah, that Abhinav, when you grow up, I want you to replace sun. And tell Sadish Uncle, after that class, that day I decided I will replace sun. Here it is. I'll come to see you. Yeah? Abhinav? Okay.
How will you replace sun?
That you are only telling replace, you are asking me now. Okay. So now this is one part I want to tell. This is pretty solid science. Okay. Whatever we covered so far. This is the fundamental of revolution, rotation, how it affects season calendar. You have to get these fundamentals very, very clear. Very important. Sidereal year, solar year, rotation, revolution, axial tilt, why Earth is rotating, what is happening to season, yeah, precession, how it is affecting, all those things. This is a bit complicated, so it spends some decent time going on with that. Right. Now I will tell a couple of more things which affect season. This none of you told, though this was a big news recently. So I hope you understand how tides happen. Again, contrary to the popular myths that Earth tide is happening because of moon. Of course, moon is a big role, but sun has an equally big role. So it actually happens because of gravitational attraction of both sun and moon. Okay. And then depending on which position sun and moon happens, the quantity of tide will change. This we know. So full moon, new moon, but every Amavasya and every Paurnami, full moon, every full moon, every new moon, we don't have eclipse, right?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Sir, because of the position of the moon.
Yeah, because this in 3D it is not in the same plane. It's not in the same plane. So when it comes in the same plane, then only you have this eclipse. But then you see when this comes in one line, so you have like more of this will attract the waters. So you have more of tides. But this moon is in like opposite direction. Sun's gravitational pull and moon's gravitational pull are sort of in the opposite direction. So you have less of tidal stuff. But the point which Pranav told now, you have an issue that moon's orbital plane is not exactly in line with this, but that changes. And that change is what we call as moon's wobble. It's not moon is wobbling, it is the orbit which is wobbling. And this wobble is causing huge change in the tides. So one cycle of this wobble, that means from here, it comes to the one side and then coming back, it causes 18.6 years. And this wobble is in one direction. Actually, it increases the high tide and decreases the low tide. That's a dangerous time. We are going through that, it seems. And the opposite direction when it moves, it increases the low tide and reduces the high tide, still more manageable. Bottom line is, the huge tides, the wobble of the moon is a big player in that. And this is affecting the climate in a big way. Okay, so suggest you go and read that. NASA has recently come up with a pretty important findings and articles on these things. Go and read that. Now, finally, we come to, I know why I put this finally is I knew all of you will talk about this. This is something you have widely read about, which we all know. So you know the greenhouse gas, and you talked about all the crazy ideas of creating artificial ice and all those things. Only thing I want to tell Pranav is, Pranav, some of the things are irreversible. Okay, it is not like one fine day you start using electric cars, you know, the entire things will change. It's much bigger problem than that. And sometimes it is irreversible. And one thing you have to understand, the temperature of ocean is playing a huge role in your climate. So there are things like El Nino, El Nano, and all those things. So these these kind of phenomena play a big role in your climate. If the temperature of the ocean even change by 1 degree, it can have catastrophic impacts on your climate, on your monsoon, on the quantity of monsoons and all those things. And that's already changing. So that's the we are seeing the impact of that. We see lot more of cloudbursts in different parts of the world, and we see lot of droughts in different part of the world. And in any other one part it happens, the people in that part will tell all these are happening because of our politicians and our government, and they will create some issue. It will happen in the other part of the world, they will also tell all these are happening because of some mismanagement of our government. But the real thing is that this is happening all around the world, which means collective actions required. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who still think that climate change is not real. So our previous president of United States, our own friend Mr. Trump, he is a firm believer that climate change is not real. These people are telling some fake science. This is not real. So that is a big problem. There are deniers. First, you have to accept there is a problem, then only you can attend to it. But this, I am not spending much time here because all of you, I was sure you will talk about that. So with that, I conclude today's portion. We can discuss some more time. We enter the last week of our debate next week. So this is next Monday's topic. So you see, if you see, there is an order in which we were discussing, because it is based on some basics, fundamentals you get. You first, we try to talk about what is science, and then we try to talk about what is the beginning and end of universe. Then we try to talk about how this science originated and what kind of developments, contributions were significant. And last 2 weeks, we slightly went into the geographical aspect and astronomical aspects of the Earth and its rotations and its movements and the climate and all those, which actually is what affecting, which could be a bit dry, but which is actually affecting your life much more than many other things. Yeah, but it is a bit dry because it's a culmination of geography and physics and astronomy and bit of maths. Sometimes students find it a bit difficult to digest that, but this is what will affect, and this is going to affect you, because today night a big cloudburst happens outside your house. You have to take the all the essentials and come out from your house. You can still think about when sun will end, which you have 5 billion years, means 500 crore years, as Pranav told, and our kids may not be there, and humanity may not be there. So this is immediate priority. But then other things are also interesting. So the next week we'll start with time travel and what is time. Then it comes the question of what is time and all those things. And the final session, we will have what is the future of science, where are current research happening, what all are the areas which you are going to research. Abhinav is going to make a new sun, and Mohammed Dayab is going to create artificial eyes and make life possible on Mars. So we will discuss about such things. I will ask a question to all of you on the last day. All of you comment, tell if you are pursuing science, what is that one invention or discovery you are going to make? With that, we will conclude the final day. Okay, over to you.